Yeah, good morning. I I want to do more on trying to make you get familiar with how you write your code in React and the way you write it in the normal HTML5 or Bootstrap that you are used to. So that's why I've decided to do this video again so that you can be confident that you can easily write your React code without the assistance of any third-party software or AI. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use two basic examples. I remember that I've told you some basic things that in your normal page, that is, let me say your home page, which is page.tsx, is made up of many word components. Unlike when you are using normal HTML5, which is made up of div or made up of section. So now you could see on the screen, let me open the major page, which is the index. This is a major page, which is the what? Which is the index. I've explained this severally. You could see that after I exported my function, export default function home, return open parenthesis, close parenthesis, then I started using the what? The navbar that I separated, the hero that I separated, the services that I separated, and the what? And the footer that I separated. But to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to combine, I'm going to use another example, but let me finish with this. The reason why I'm using the example is that sometimes it's also possible that you just decide that, okay, I don't want to break it into components. I just want to use my page like I'm writing my normal word, my normal HTML5. Like this one, I broke it into what? Into components. So let's look at the navbar, or possibly, okay, let's look at the navbar so that you see that I didn't really do anything that is different. So that means I'll go to components. I'll go to components. This is the component. Let me close it. And I open my what? My navbar. Now look at it. You will see that there is no difference from what we have been doing all this while. Now, anytime you want to use the link, you know that you import link from next/link. Anytime you want to use image, you import what? Image from what? Next/ what? Image. Please, it's very important. And I've taught you about states. So now, the next thing is return. Okay, let me even use a simpler example that you really digest better. Let me use sidebar that I use for my dashboard. Now, looking at this, you could see that I have export default function sidebar. Are you following? And I use my return. Immediately after the curly brace that you open, then the next thing is your return parenthesis, and I close my what? My parenthesis. Okay, let's go. The reason why I decided to use this is that they are normal text and link. Now, you will notice that I use, this is the div that is holding every of the sidebar. That's why you see one div, I open one div here, then look at the bottom, I close the div. So there is no difference. Let me just be like that. There is no what? There is no difference between your what? HTML5 with this. The only thing is that we are putting it inside what? Inside function so that we can easily reuse it anywhere. Are you following? So tell me what's the difference. I use div and I close my what? My div. After that, I use my h2. I close my what? My h2. Now, when you're talking about Tailwind CSS, there is no big deal. Normally, if it is the normal, what is it called? CSS, I'll just say class. Am I right? Equals. But when you are using, what is it called? When you are using React, you use class name. This The class will be small, it will start with small letter C, then the name with capital letter. Then after that, look at this. TEST hyphen Excel. Do you know the meaning of this one? You are talking about the tests. This andimat, this test must be extra large, that it must be big. If I want it to be small, I'll just say TST hyphen what? Hyphen SM, which is small. If it is medium, TEST hyphen what? MG. If it is large, TEST hyphen what? Hyphen LG. Are you following? Then after that, font bold. That is, you want it to be bold. Then after that, space MB. MB means something, but I'm coming up. Let me check. I prepared the MB. You see it now. Okay, I think it's margin bottom. Margin bottom. Yeah, I'll see it now. MG, margin bottom, margin bottom. Even though I didn't see it, I remembered. Okay, yeah. MB is what? Sorry, bottom spacing. Do you understand? Bottom spacing. No, there's a place that has been, it's still margin bottom spacing. Do you understand? Yeah, margin bottom spacing. So now, after I've done that, you could see that MB8, that is, the margin bottom is what? Is 8. Now, look at this number again. You could see that I'm actually saying what? TEST hyphen what? SM. Do you understand? And that's why I'm going to send this material to you so that you can actually go through each of it. Anytime you see BG, you should know that it's background color. TST, TEST hyphen white. You are talking about the test. You want it to be what? White color. Do you understand? So I will give you this material as well so that you can actually go through them. I'll give you this material. There's no need of stressing myself on this. I'll give you this material. So now, looking at link, that is, I want to put dashboard, my request, job. I open my link and I close my what? My link. And I started. Okay, it should be block. Then over. That is when what? When cursor is over this particular dashboard, the text should be what? This color. I think that is clear. So all these class name that you are seeing, the values for this property, they are all Tailwind CSS. But let's think of it. You can decide that I don't even want to use this. Let me take you back to your former way of doing things so that you know that it's not as if anything really changed. You can decide that, okay, this guy, I don't want to use you like this. I want to easily use my style. You know how you used to write your style, like your inline. You can use it as well. So that means if I want to do that, let me open a particular page where I use that so that you will see it. Opening it in this thing could take time. Let me just open it. Let me just go to the folder or to the project document front end. Okay, possibly don't let me be on this. Let me try and open it for you. Then app. Okay, look at this case now. Main. Okay, this is the okay. Yeah, good morning. You can bring your seats. So let me just open open folder. I want to try and open another project entirely. So front end. I'll select. I'll try my best, possibly if I can run it so that you see what I'm saying. Okay, it has opened. Now you will see that in this case, this is another project entirely. In this case, unlike the other project that I did, I purposely opened this one so that I would really pass an information across to you. In this case, I will just go to my normal home page. It's not the one that is inside folder. It's always below the layout.csx. So I'll double click and I'll open it. Okay, now immediately I open it. This is my home page. So in this case, what you will notice is that is more or less writing all the code separately, but writing the code straightforward on the home page. It's not like the other one that I did that I put the nav bar separating in a component. I kept the what is it called? I kept the hero separately. I kept the content. I mean the major body part and the footer separately. But this one is writing it almost directly. Now let's see. Let's see a very good example. Okay, look at it. I want to open it so that you see. I will say npm space run space dev. Let's run it. But while we are running, this is where I'm going. So that's why just forget that, oh, maybe React is something that is difficult. It's the same thing. The only difference is just your function that you are introducing to it. Okay, yeah, let's look at this one. Immediately, I use my what? My export default function home, abi. All this one you are seeing is that some other form, anytime you see form data, there's some input in that place. You understand? That's trying to still leave all these ones. Can you say return? That's just the normal. Open parenthesis, close the word. Let's see where you even stop the return. Can you see the return? So there's no big deal about this thing. Now, let's now scroll back. Let's now scroll back. Now, do you know that very interesting is actually using, because this project, I'm not the one that did it. It's another person that did it entirely, but they transferred the project to me. You understand? As a web developer, it happens sometimes. Maybe someone did a project and the person said, okay, I'm tired of this person. I want another person. Maybe they had an issue and I want this person to what? And do my project. So that's the reason why I used to beg you guys, please, wherever you are learning, make sure you don't really depend solely on what? On all these AI. Because that's what will give you confidence to be able to solve any work that anybody transfer to you. You understand? Because if I'm not familiar with this, I will not be able to what? To do anything. Do you understand? So now, very interesting. That means you can still use your what? Your inline CSS. And even if you don't like Tailwind CSS, you can leave it. Do you understand? You use your inline. Let me give you a sample. Let me give you a sample. I want it to open, but it's still loading. It remains little. That's why I've not opened it. Let me see. Local, local. That's why this React, this week we are going to stop it for now. The reason is because there is a part that I will teach you after I'm done with PHP. Do you understand? The reason is because, fine, React is just for front end. So that means you can also combine React with your what? With your PHP. Do you understand? So, so let's see if I'm almost done. Okay. Okay, look at this. In fact, this particular project, I'm the one that modified it because the person said, okay, he needed, okay, like all the screen now. It was not like that. You understand? A lot of things here, like all this red you are seeing, this purple, very bright purple, it was faded before. Do you understand? So let's even look at this and see what I did. Are you following? Okay. Or okay. So there's no cause for alarm. So just be looking for a word that is familiar with this visual home sales. So instead of wasting your time, you can use your search, right? Find featured words home. You know, featured homes. Let me copy it. Control C. Ó ti rí ó ti gbé mi wá sí tòsí ibẹ̀. Okay, okay. Let me use another example that it will be very glaring for you to see. Okay, can you see building, construction? Let's see where it is. Building, construction, building, construction. Okay, can you see? Building, construction. I'm still even looking for something very unique. Okay, do you have property? Let's look for do you have property? You okay, wow. Are you following? What did I do here? I just came to this style. This is the span that is holding it exactly like you are using your what? Your inline CSS. And I'll say style equals. The only difference is this. You won't quote it. Are you getting me? You know, normally in inline CSS, I would just say what style equals quote Abby. But this one you use double color brace, double color brace. Anytime you use color brace, you should understand that you're actually taking it as an what? As an object. Anytime you use square, you should understand that you are taking it as what? As an array. So these are just the little things you need to understand. So now, can you see color? I gave you the color. Do you understand? So, so what I'm actually introducing to you now is that you can still ignore your what? Your tailwind. Yes. Is that clear? The only difference is just that you see that everything that is actually doing is just, in fact, is just purely like you are writing your what? Your HTML. The only difference is that export default hmm, at the top, and you say function, the function name, open parenthesis, close, open curly brace, close curly brace, and you say return, open parenthesis, and you put every exactly code that you have in your HTML. It will work. Is that clear? Exactly. So in most of these places, can you see what is using? IMG space what? Style. So there is no difference. Div. So don't think that oh React, and that's the idea that a lot of people have that React is exactly. Now, uh, this material, I'm going to send it to you. Look at what you just need to do is I just go through it. You get familiar with that's if you want to be used with Tailwind CSS because that one is very tight. Just say class name and you start putting all this. For example, now let me tell you the mean. Let me just run through some of them. This one is Tailwind though. You understand? But if you like CSS also, it's still the same thing. Immediately, maybe you have okay. Let me come to this place. Let me come. Maybe you have one. Let me use some common stuff that you know in CSS. Okay. In yeah, H2 slash what? H2. You want to give it, and you don't want to use Tailwind. If it's Tailwind, very simple. Just say class what name Abby equals. You quote quote. Don't mind me, because I'm using normal Microsoft Word. Now, what will I put inside? Because it's a text, Abby. So you just say test hyphen. If it's color white, you just put white hyphen. I can put 700. What's the meaning of the 700? The 700 is the thickness of the what? Of the white. Do you understand? Are you following all these things? So that's the same thing that they are saying in this part. Let me show you. So React is very, very simple. So don't let anybody, can you see test white? Hmm? If it's blue, test purple. If it's green, test green. Do you understand? So there's no big deal there. So let me just quickly go through most of it. So that's the basic. Hmm? The meaning of this 500 is the intensity of that white. Is that clear? Class name you can use underline, no underline. So these are over be bootstrap classes, none. So now when I say over, you first use colon, text, orange. The only difference is that okay, normally between one over, you just remove the sabi. But if it is a major property, just put colon and you put it. Is that clear? So if it is display also, you know this one block, inline block. You understand? Uh, so this one is W full. It means full what? Width. When you see P2, it means padding. Do you understand? When you see horizontal and vertical, when I say PX, padding horizontally, padding vertically. Do you understand? So there's no big deal about all these things. Typography, this one is even simple. Text, SM, small. So H2 NC, I can still come, as I was saying, maybe the size. I will use space again. I can say TST what? LG, equal large or XL. So you don't need like CSS. You have to size 24px. You don't need all those ones. Do you understand? So just get familiar. Take your time. Get familiar to it, man. And if you feel that oh, I don't want to use Tailwind, I can remove it again and use my normal what style equals open curly brace, close curly brace, close curly brace. Exactly. Start color. Give it a color. Then you'll be separating it with comma, 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 comma. Do you understand? So it's not something that is what? Look at this one. Test align, center, comma, width. So I want to congratulate you. You don't have any issue with React. So just know that everything you know before, you can bring it in there. Everything. It's just little changes. Oh, when you are in this thing, you say class, but here you say class name. When you are there, you can say style equals code code, but here you say style equals calibrate calibrate. Do you understand? So these are just the little differences that you must actually understand. Exactly. And don't forget what I told you that when I was telling you the other time, don't forget the importance of anytime the reason why I say import image from Nest because they want to use images. You understand? So if it is link, I'll say import link from what? Next slash what? Link. So these are just the simple things. Can you see? I didn't even know that I use it here. Do you understand? So these are just the simple things that you must what? Get familiar with. Exactly. Okay. So let me see the time. I can still cover one or two things again. Okay. Now let me now quickly round up what I was taking you on useState because I sent a video to you guys. So let me see if I can find a way to complement what I've taught you on state so that I will not just stop it there. Let me open further. Let me go back to the project that I did personally. And you can say tests is use square bracket and put the color code also. You understand? If you don't know, just say it's a test, maybe yellow, like I did, and you can use, but you use square bracket to give it the exact code. You understand? So, okay, npm run what dev, let it run. Now, when I was taking you on React, I told you different instances that you use what? that you use states. You must first understand something when you're talking about use states. Let me use what states. I want to paint a scenario that will make people understand this issue of use states. You know, I told you earlier that there is a way you actually put your code in different components. Do you understand? So most time, what what React, let me say that's even one of the way they use that word. By the time is actually trying to actually compile all those components that you put in different places, and it wants it to work on the home page. Do you understand? There is no way there will not be need for states. And if you remember, I told you, in fact, there is no page you want to really design that you not use state. Go and let's confirm to show you how important it is. Now, you will notice that in the I'm not talking about no, this one are components. You might not see it though. So that's why I'm using the example of what of um of of components. You understand? On a normal day, these are what? These are components. But let's now go to where it will work. You understand? You could see that under my component, I have many components, right? Now, let's now go to my home page where I use all the what? All those components. Are you following? Now, you will notice that, okay, I use import nav, import footer, import. Yeah, the reason why I did not need them, shall I tell you the reason? The reason is because in this place, I'm not actually using click like that because all I just did here is that I just combined it. Am I right? I just combined my navbar. But let's go to navbar component itself. Navbar. Okay, did you see? Because navbar, there's no way you know what you not click. Did you see that we use what? Use states. Because for you to use state, three things is important. Anywhere you want to use click, anywhere you want to use anywhere you want to use I'm coming. Oh, sorry, I'm missing things up. You know, I was teaching you about use client, Abby. That before you use client, there must be state, there must be click. You remember the data I told you, and there must be event attributes. Do you understand? But when you're talking about use state, most time, anytime you want to use it, there must be click. Are you following? So the reason why we're actually using this, let me just explain in a simple way. If you remember when they were taking you JavaScript, there are some things they taught you. They taught you about function, very important. Even though we also use function in this place. But in a simple term, this line that you are seeing, let me tell you the meaning. I'm going to divide it into two. This is the what? The right operand and the what? The left operand. What is the right operand? Right operand is what you see after the what? Equal sign, Abi. Now, this right operand, you could see that it's telling you that what? Use what? Is always use state at the right. Do you understand? But inside the parentheses is where you see the initial value or the starting value. For example, now for this place, now the starting value is what? Is false. So that's why we call this one boolean what? Use state. Do you understand? Because the only thing it takes is either what false or what truth. So by default, when you see your navbar, it will be false. Like on a mobile phone, by oh Nileshi, but you get. Do you understand? It is when you now click it that you now turn to true to open it. Are you following what I'm actually saying? Now, the one at the left, did you understand? This one is always use state. Do you understand? But it's the value that is here that we call the initial what value. Some okay, if it is number use state, now it start with what zero. And then people have to increase it. Like now if you want to do something like count, Omalosi 2, Omalosi 3. Do you understand? Now, when you now look at the left one is the value. The left one is what? The value itself. The value itself. How? I know you'll be wondering. Don't worry, they are not difficult things. If I'm writing normal variable, I can say x. Look at okay, I can say name equals Soji. You understand? So can you see that the value itself is what is name? Or let me say the variable. So G is the value Abi. So normally if I want to write something that will actually deal with what? That will actually deal with name. Maybe I'm storing name. What will I call this place? I'll call it name. So don't think that this menu open is one big thing. It's just the name of the what? The variable. Am I getting anything? Are you getting me? So menu open. That does not mean that you cannot use another word. That's the issue that a lot of people use to. Someone will just go and cram this menu open. Hey, it must be menu open. It's just a name you are giving it. Menu what? Open. Me, I can change it. I can say menu open now. Do you understand? So how do you know that it's a variable? It starts with small letter. Abi? Okay, look at this. This one is the shareable ti gbe wa gan. This one, let me see if I put my cursor there to tell me. Okay, it's not really saying much. But this one, okay, also no. This is set what? It's saying const. The reason why this const is there is that it can be const menu open. Const what? Set menu open. So they don't want to write const menu open, const what? Set menu open. You understand? But this one is the function. What did I call it? A function. Kí ni function máa ń ṣe? Basically, thank God, they've taught you about function. I can decide that, oh, if anyone should just tell me that I want to count the names in a particular character, there's a function to do that. Do you understand? Oh, if someone should say that I want to know the date for today, there's a what? Function to do that. So is this function that will make this one to be meaningful? Because it's with the function that you change the value. Do you understand? Are you getting me? It's with the function that you what? Change the value. That is why this function, at the end of the day, this name can be inside because it's the one that wants to change this menu open. Normally, I'm supposed not to be doing this, but I'm trying to relate. But one of the best ways to learn is that relate the person back to what the person knows before. Do you understand? Exactly. Have I said anything that is difficult? No. Are you following? Now, let me see if we ever use, okay, okay. I know you'll be wondering, why am I going down? Because this function, I know they will use it. Am I making any sense? Because this one is just the initial state is what? Is false. Don't worry, before the end of this class, I will do different instances that will establish your knowledge on what? On use states. Do you understand? This is the most important part. This one is a constant. Anytime you want to use state, you must use state and you write the initial what? Starting point, which is false by default. You understand? So now let's now see where we use it. What they want to use this thing is the opening of your navbar. Come and see. They now came here. They now said it's inside the button that they use it. If you remember when I was taking you JavaScript, I told you now normally if it's normal JavaScript, what are we going to do here? It made you write button and I will close my what? My button. Can you see? Close my button. I will now say space what? On click because on click is an event attribute. Are you following? I write what? On click. Look at me. If it is okay, let me even remove this. Can you see that in this one? Instead of using quotes, let me delete it. That's good. I need to give me a I'm trying to relate you back to what you know before in JavaScript. So they are not difficult things. This is button, close what? Button. So if I want to write normal JavaScript, I'll just come here, I'll just say what? On click equals what? quote, Abi, quote, and I'll put the name of the function. What is the name of the function? Set what? Thank you, Control C. Bam, bam. Abi, this is JavaScript, but it's not like that in what? In React. So that's one of the things you should go and learn. Go and learn about what we call arrow function. What do I call it? Arrow function. Now let me now explain now. Let me now go back to this one. Now, how does it change? I will not use this quote. I'll use what? I'll use color brace. What did I call it? Color brace. Can you see? This is a color brace. Color brace, close what? That's what substitutes the what? The quote. Are you following? Now, this is the meaning of arrow function. I will just give you a clue. Is this is you see that it's still almost the same thing? This is the what? This is the function itself. Now, what is the meaning of arrow function? Arrow function is a short form of your normal function. Do you know how you write your normal function? Yeah, let me come here and write my number. How do I write my normal function? I will say, function. Yeah, function name, Abi. Maybe I want to say, let me do for name now. Maybe I want to say set what? Name. Abi. Open parenthesis, open curly brace, close what? This is your normal function. Do you understand? Yeah, whether I'm in a class. Yeah, it's inside the car. I'll say console.log. Are you following? That is what this function will do. I'm already saying it. Maybe it's I can say, normally if I want to do a nice job, I can say A, comma B, and at the end of the hair, I can say possibly A, where's my, I'll say A plus what? B. That's what I want this function to do. Do you understand? Hmm? At the end of the day, anywhere I want to use it, I'll just say set what? Set name, parentheses, close parentheses, and I'll put the argument. You understand? But now, when you are talking about arrow function, it has divided into two. How? One is left operand. I said equals square bracket, equal arrow. Abi, this is the reason why they call it arrow function. The simple meaning is this, that this part that you are seeing, parenthesis, this empty parenthesis, is this part you are seeing. You understand? You understand? So normally, if it is empty here, it will be what? It will be empty here. So this one is trying to tell you that in this case, there's no need of saying function name. Do you understand? It's a short form of writing. So the simple meaning is that what is at the left, are you getting me? Instead of saying, because the meaning of this one is that this is the left part, set name. Hmm? But you don't need to put the name of the function. That's the smartness. And this one is what? This is what it will do, Abby. This is the doing part. This right hand side. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, so it's now saying that set menu open, not menu what? Open. So what I will just tell you is that when you actually get, you could see that it's even telling you in this place there is actually a boolean by by default. They've actually said it. What's the meaning of not menu open? That is, don't open it by default. Not menu open. Don't open it by what? By default. Do you understand? Are you following? So I think I would let me try and still see if I can give you another example about use states. Hmm, let me see my Even for something to load, they are still giving its use state. You understand? But I'm just trying to see if I can see a more. Okay, let me go to my login scripts. My login scripts. Look at this one. Can you see that they are still using what? Use states. But without anybody telling you, these are object use states. How? Children, colibris, colibris. Second one, low square, you will know that is a what? Is an array use state. And what are they saying? They say the initial value of the email and the password is what? Empty. This is the variable and this is the what? Function. So if you go down now, let me go and look for this function. You see what it does. Control C. Okay. You said one, two. So two of it. So let's look at the second place. I love this. You will see that inside this set form date, are you getting me? That is where they are now using the form, the major form. You understand? Because anytime you see form data, what it's actually trying to say is that whatever the person has actually stored, the person will come and will type, look at this. On a normal day, he's saying that, come, let me look for, okay. I know it might look strange to you. That's why I want to first finish with PHP. You know, normally when you put your username and your password, computer will go and check, is it in the database? That's why you see that even React is not really doing anything here. What React is only doing is that it's trying to load this guy to what? To this fetch. What is the meaning of fetch? Fetch array. What it does most time is that if you're actually trying to use another API to process that login script. So this is the API. So I have my different script for what? Login script. Do you understand? So it's not, don't think that React is not the one processing this guy. The person processing is what? Is my PHP. So that's why if you go to, but I don't want to really go far in that line. You understand? Because I've not taught some of you on. So that's why you must be serious with your PHP as well. Some people are using Python for their backend. Some people are using PHP different. Let me see. Let me just show you some clues and let me round up the class. Okay. Okay, Lele. Login. Can you see? Open with. So is my login script is still loading? Can you see? Is my login script? Can you see? Verify email, verify password. Do you understand? Select all from blah, blah, blah. Are you getting me? So it's being processed by who? By my PHP. Do you understand? So let's stop there.